What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Eric. I'm going to share my journey into getting tattooed. The first memory of me having something close to a tattoo was a temporary tattoo. It must have been when I was in elementary. You know those ones you put a quarter and some design comes out of it? Most of these designs were traditional Japanese, I think so. I don't know what the hell I had. But I end up putting it in my thigh, my inner thigh. Why? I mean, like, fuck, I was only a kid, right? And I think when you put a tattoo like on your thigh, really, like, I had some guy tell me this at the TA Travel Center. He was Hispanic, sound like a retard. He said he's gonna get a tattoo of Mario Brothers looking like this on his thigh. I said, in his thigh? For reals? Me personally, in the thigh, just on the thigh, that's just a pattern that makes women look hot. I mean, you can get the whole leg, half a leg, but if you get the thigh, that looks hot. And this guy was overweight. He had diabetes. And the thing is about he knows about it, like they take medication that thins the blood, but he doesn't have the final product. And when he left, he was just mean mugging me. It's like, okay. Well, anyways, back to the subject. I don't know what made me do it. Maybe because I had a cousin that was a gang member, or because being from Southern California, we're not really conservative like Northern Carolina. Because I heard things about Northern Carolina that you can be discriminated if you have tattoos. Be discriminated. You know what I'm saying? They won't hire you if you have tattoos. Besides California, if you have tattoos, you're discriminated. You will have a pending lawsuit. Yep, that's Cali. And the thing is, I was excited as a kid putting on this temporary tattoo on my thigh. It was small. Can't remember what it was. It must have been yellow. Only thing I do remember after I took a shower, I put it on, and my godfather was in his room, and I came in and I wanted to show him off. So I think I had my boxers, my underwears on, and I showed it. I opened my towel and I showed it and I closed it and laughed. Man, he was not laughing. He told me, hey, what was that? What was that? Open your towel. And I did. I don't know what happened. It's a blank. He was just like talking shit, I guess. When I first had my tattoo, it wasn't done in the shop. My first tattoo was done, I don't know when. I think I was in high school. I started getting involved in gangs, and a gang that was nearby my neighborhood, but inside or in my neighborhood. I tried my best getting in. It didn't seem like they were getting me in. I mean, I don't know what was the problem. Me wanting to be part of a gang. I just wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself, because I felt small. And I had a taste of action. Putting in work. It made me feel like a man. I ended up macking down chicks at the high school, but I wasn't officially in the neighborhood. And it didn't give me the gratification that I wanted. And these guys seems like they were. I don't know what was the problem. What happened is that somebody saw me hitting up this guy. I squared up on him. I talked smack. He got scared. He did do shit, and this guy saw it. Like I said, he saw it, and he told me to be a part of his gang. And then it was weird, because when after I got the tattoo from his gang, I was so in a rush to be a part of this neighborhood. This neighborhood has been around for like forever. I'm not gonna mention their name. I thought about mentioning it, but I ended up getting that tattoo lasered, and it didn't cost me nothing. It was provided by the court, and it was for free for anybody who was gang affiliated. Okay, now going forward, I never officially was a part of that neighborhood, but I got the tattoo, and that thing hurted. It was across my chest from here, one end to the other. It practically covered the whole chest. When my mom saw it, she saw like a part of it when I raised my shirt up to show her my stomach, but just playing around, and we actually saw a piece of it. She wanted to see the rest. She got teared up, and she ended up crying because she couldn't believe it. You know, like, man. To make things worse is that when I got it lasered up, the gang that gave me a hard time getting in ended up gaining me in. Then I ended up getting their neighborhood in my chest. And I really, after I got in, I started putting a lot of work in. I put a lot more than I did before I was in. I was making a name for myself. And it's not good when you make a name for yourself. No, it's not, because you only draw people that are the ops. You even draw people that are from your own neighborhood. Your own neighborhood, there's people that really don't put work, don't have a street cred or reputation in the streets. And it's bad. Simple as that. It's bad news. You know what? And I didn't go any further getting more tattoos because my face was enough that it was a bullseye. I didn't want to have any tattoos on my head, anywhere I was showing where I was from, because I didn't want to be identified from far away. I wanted you close enough to see who I am. That's how much work I put in. If you recognize me, you got to get close enough. Now, going a little forward, I did go to jail a couple of times. Then I ended up going to prison. I ended up going to prison because I got caught with the gun. I ended up doing like 8 or 9 months in prison. While I was in prison, I did get a tattoo. I got how many? One. No, I got one in jail. Matter of fact, me and this guy from 18th Street were tattooing each other. I don't even know what I tattooed on him. Mine, I put on my fingers, trust nobody. You can't even see it, especially now that I cover my fingers. I had to cover the tattoo I had before. It wasn't gang affiliated. It's just a tattoo that people were pointing out a lot, which people still do. Not the one that I have right now covered, but another hand tattoo that I have, just to get in your nerves. Anyways, I put on my fingers, trust no one. And trust me, when you're affiliated to any gang, any gang, or something affiliated with the criminal underworld, like, you can't trust no one. Like, no one. Your crowd of people becomes smaller and smaller and smaller. Your worst enemies are the ones that they're in your circle. And man, that's the worst thing about it. Going forward, talking about prison, I ended up getting a 69 on my shoulder, which is faded. That one didn't come out good. Then I ended up getting Are You Ready, which I covered. Oh no, man, it's completely covered. Wait a minute. No, I covered that thing. That thing is completely covered. I think I'm not sure before. No. Before that, I ended up getting my neighborhood. Where's my neighborhood? Got my neighborhood right here. See, right here is some old English. I covered half of it because I covered the 13. I didn't want to walk around with that 13 because when I would work at the warehouses, especially this one warehouse, it was mostly Hispanic dominant. It was mostly Hispanics, and I was working with a youngster, and this youngster, I think he was gang affiliated. He was like in his early late teens. He must have been 18 or early 20s, and I'm older than him. I'm not saying I was an OG. I was in my late 30s. But I told him I don't game bang, but yet he was telling me, hey, what is it? What does it mean? I don't want to offend you. He was trying to come up with something to have me tell him. It's like, dude, I don't game bang. You know what? When I used to see OGs with their tattoos, like this one OG from Northern California, a norteño. I knew he was a gangster, but I didn't know he was from Northern California. And he started throwing all these cities, mentioning all these cities. I'm like, what? None of these cities are familiar in Southern California. It was one that was familiar, and I knew he was a northerner. I wasn't even tripping. It's like whatever, I was trying to change my life. It's like, I'm not going to say nothing, Or I didn't care. But this youngster, he was persistent, and he was aggressive about it. And I didn't tell him then. I didn't like that, really. And these youngsters, they have no respect. For real, no respect at all. So I covered it, so I don't have to go through the same bullshit again. Maybe I might have to go through it because I covered half of it. Yeah, I regret getting these tattoos. Not the ones I have right now, but the ones I was gang affiliated. And I took risks. I took risks in jail, in prison, because especially in prison, it's like people were giving out tattoos and you don't know what they have. Like what kind of diseases, viruses they have. But yeah, and I was warned, hey man, you don't want to get a tattoo, you might catch something. But being in prison is like being in Disneyland. You want to get your memorabilia, memorabilia. you want to take something back home. Man, that's how bad I wanted it. It's like, man, I want to give me a tattoo in prison, So I did, and I ended up covering it. Oh shit. Yeah, and that's what happens. I heard stories that people have gotten AIDS in prison, and it's sad. You can catch something. So that's my story for Oh no, and then wait a minute. Story hasn't ended. Before it ended, I ended up getting one of my. It's covered. It's right below my It's not there no more. Well, I covered it. It says Sur Tierra Alta, meaning South Highland. About it, I didn't know you had to earn your Sur, SUR, because somebody seen it on me. And these idiots from my neighborhood didn't know better, like about having the 13, and you have to earn those things. Some things you got to earn in prison, which I did not know. And nobody put hands on me. I was active, but I didn't put work. And if I were to be told to do something, like, I was ready. It's like, hey, someone hands me a piece, needs me to take care of somebody. Man, for reals, I was ready. I would raise my hand up, like, yeah, pick me. I'll do it. Who do you want me to get? Cause damn, man, I was young, man. I was young. I was like, what? How? I think I was like 20 years old, and you have this rush, this big, huge ego, and you got to represent your neighborhood. And the thing is, and it's not easy, it's not easy because when I did my term in prison, this guy, he ended up being a somebody. I mean, he was my first, he was a somebody because when he first came to prison, nobody knew him, and he was my bunkie. So this bunkie, he was old. He was in his 60s, 65, 70. I took care of him. He had an empty locker, and I hooked him up with soaps, soups. Like I filled his locker up. I didn't fill it up. I mean, he had like maybe a little bit less than what I have, but he had enough. And I showed him, some homie love. You know what I'm saying? And he started telling me some things that it started clicking. Like, I can't say it here in the YouTube. He started giving me hints, like who he is, as his status, and I just played stupid. Because that itself was too big for me. Too big. I'm like, whoa. I'm my bunkie is a legend. A legend. After I figured it out, people around him circled around him like tuna, not tuna, sardines, and like he was a queen bee, like that. But yeah, I don't know why I brought him up to the story, but the thing is, he started telling me and some other guy, because the other guy knew who he was, I guess, in a way, and he was eavesdropping, and then he got in the conversation because he was teaching us how to stab somebody, how to utilize a weapon, and the thing, and he told me, hey, the thing is serious. This is like, if you don't, if you're like, well, like, if you don't meet your mission, you're gonna become a mission. Like, they're gonna take care of you, because you didn't take care of the person you needed to take care of. And that's what I needed to know, because you need to put an effort, or else somebody is going to put an effort on you. And you don't know who's going to take care of you, you know what I'm saying? It's like, people can have a straight face, play along like it's whatever, and next thing you know, you're getting stabbed. So he taught us how to utilize a weapon, where to stab somebody, and that shit was real. And me and this other guy were just like listening to him, because if that option ever comes up to me, even though if I don't raise my hand and it is presented to me, then I have to do it. And I'm grateful that I never had to do it, because I only gone to a level 1 prison. And back then, what they used to call level 1 is Camp Snoopy. You're in and you're out. And after I went to prison, I never went back again. It was hard. It was hard to stay out, because I was getting. Is after my first year of my parole. Is when it got hard, because my first year I started drinking. I wasn't even smoking drugs. After a year, I started drinking, smoking meth, getting to more trouble. I had to do a program, and none of the programs meet the criteria, could help me. and I had to do the state agency program, and it was difficult because I had to go in all methed out, and people went there all drugged up, and a lot of people within a month violated because you'll see them one day, they're gone. You see them a couple of days, they're gone. You see them a week, they're gone. And it was ongoing. There must have been like 25, 30 people violated within a month span of me being there. And I got told on, like, this guy, this white dude, man, he was a turd. You know, because I can't, sometimes I come to work. I was the only one that had a job. And I think that's the only reason I got lenient. Because I think the people there knew that I was on drugs, like the person in charge, didn't care as long as I had a job. And this guy pointed me out. Oh man, but he's sleeping. And I opened my eyes and I rolled towards him. It's like, man, dude, you just fucked up, dude. Seriously, you got me pissed. And the lady in charge says, well, he's the only one that has a job. And everybody laughed at him. And I gave him a smirk. It's like, man, you're lucky, dude. You're freaking lucky. And this dude was I'm not saying because he was white. I'm just saying it because he was a straight loser. Straight loser. Man, he was a straight up meth addict. That was his drug of choice. He didn't work for. I worked for my drugs. I consumed drugs. I never had to steal from my drugs. No, I always worked. I was a functioning drug addict. But this guy, his life was just freaking stealing from people. I wouldn't doubt he stole from his own family. Well, that's it. You know, I'm not trying to bash on white people. Because, matter of fact, you know, I met some people that were in prison that were white and they were cool. Especially one, his name is Casper. He was a young guy, about my age. And I think about him. I think about me in the conversation with it was Casper and this other white guy. He was about my age. I think Casper was a bit older. This guy was he was soft. He was soft. He wanted a nickname in prison. It was funny. He wanted a street name. He wanted a street name in prison. It's like, man, I told him. I said, what about Powder? You know, seen the movie Powder? You know how that guy was white. This dude was white and soft. He didn't like it. Me and Casper laughed. Casper, he occasionally, like, rarely we hang out because the older white folks in prison, they stick to their own. They have this thing, they stick to their own. They don't like hanging around with Hispanics. The less contact with Mexicans they have is better for them. But the youngsters they have lenient for the youngsters, because we have more. We're allowed to talk, and we're more relatable, in our ways. But he started doing speedballs. I heard speedballs are meth mixed with heroin, and I'm not sure if he tried it the first time, but it's the second time. The second time he tried it, he OD'd. He OD'd. He OD'd the first time. And I'm not sure if I heard about it, but I heard about it after he died, and he OD'd the first time. The second time he OD'd, but he didn't come back. They tried to resuscitate him to the point that his chest caved in. And they left him in his bunk. They twisted his legs. They twisted his arms so he can appear that he was just chilling. Put his glasses on. Left him like that. And when they did count, they do count. I don't know how often they do count, but they do count. That's when they found him dead. The OCs. I think that's what you call them. And I feel bad for him. You know what I'm saying? That happened. And I messed around too. I smoked a joint there. I drank the beer outside the yard. I did some other stuff that, man, tripped me the hell out. But Casper will be remembered. He was a cool guy. You know, unfortunately, he had to die young, and he's not here to enjoy life. And I'm not sure if he would have lived long enough. You know, Casper was he was a wild child, and yeah, he was wild. He was wild enough to fucking already the second time and die. To respects to Casper. Peace out.